Also following a local breaking news alert from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office where this noon, new details are being released about 3 separate killings. One of those investigations involved a man who says he accidentally shot a 19-year-old. Another murder involves the stabbing death of a man in northwest Jacksonville. But we begin with the latest on 3 people arrested following the shooting death of a cab driver. That happened in Panama Park more than a week ago.
And we did learn that 3 teenagers were arrested following that killing of that taxi cab driver. I want to show you some information and their mugshots on the screen right now. That murder happened about 2 weeks ago, and police were called to Bloxham Avenue in the Panama Park area. The names of those teens arrested are 15-year-old Tyon Williams and 17-year-old Tavion Williams. We are told that they are not related. Police say another teen, Deron Brown, turned himself in Broward County after a warrant was issued for his arrest. He turned himself in about a week ago, and he is expected to be brought to Duval County today. All 3 are charged with murder and armed robbery. That murder happened around 10 p.m. on January 30th. Detectives linked a phone number that one of the teens had to apparently one of the teens made a phone call to Yellow Cab that night, and that teen's phone number who was linked there, he stayed at Panama Youth Services that provides emergency housing for foster care children between the ages of 13 and 17 years old. Police were called to that area after someone called about a suspicious car in that location, which crashed into a tree. When officers arrived, they found 62-year-old Melvin Wright, a cab driver from Yellow Cab, shot in the chest. He was taken to UF Health where he died. And here's how police say that murder happened. They learned information about after they interviewed 2 of the teens.
During these interviews, they learned that 3 young men were involved in a planned robbery of a taxi cab driver. Deron Montrell Brown Jr. was identified as the main suspect who organized the robbery. He's an 18-year-old black male. He was armed with a .22 caliber rifle.
Plan was for one of those teens to distract the cab driver. Another one of those teens was to approach the cab driver with a gun, and the other one was to take the money. Witnesses do say that they saw one of those teens pull the trigger in this case, and then all 3 teens took off from that area. Also want to tell you information that we did learn here at JSO about a deadly stabbing. That stabbing happened on Friday. We learned the victim was stabbed with a shaft of a golf club. According to police, 66-year-old Albert Garvin was arrested. Police were called to West 31st Street in northwest Jacksonville, and when police arrived, they found 46-year-old Barry Johnson lying in the street. 2 people in the area were helping Johnson after he was stabbed, according to investigators. Police say their attention was then directed to 66-year-old Albert Garvin, who was sitting on the porch of a home. Officers then arrested Garvin, and he was interviewed. And they did learn that both men lived at the same home with Barry Johnson, who is the victim's sister in this case. Garvin and Johnson's sister dated, according to investigators, and Garvin said that he and Johnson, who was arrested, were arguing over Johnson not carrying his weight and paying bills at the house. Police say that Johnson became upset and that he threatened Garvin with some knives and then put them back in the kitchen. And then investigators say that Garvin was still upset, so he went and got his golf club and hit Johnson with that golf club shaft. We'll continue to follow both of these stories on News4Jax and News4Jax.com. Marcus White, Channel 4, the local station.
Marcus, thank you. The 3rd case that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office talked about this morning involves a shooting last Saturday on East 15th Street. Frank Cameron was arrested after he says he accidentally shot Marvin Smith. Smith's body was found in a detached garage. Cameron told detectives he got the gun from a friend for protection because of bad things that were happening in the neighborhood. He called Smith over to help him find the safety when the gun accidentally went off. Cameron's charged with possession of a firearm and possession of a weapon by a convicted felon.